So, in this vlog, I'm going to talk about No Country for Old Men, which is classified as a Western novel. Some elements that have a Western are Western in this novel are the setting that they talk about in the beginning. The Lewin Moss, who's the first character we're really introduced to, he's like in a setting where there's like blood everywhere, and it's obviously like a result of a fight, and that element of violence is something that we often see in Western films. One of the characters I wanted to focus most on was Shigra, and basically he's the bad guy, kind of like the main superior male figure that we can see in most of the Western films that are Western novels. And basically he's seen, we can see this kind of superior male figure through his dialogue. A lot of the things he says are very like short and he doesn't really value life because, well, I would say based on the fact that he uses a coin toss to determine certain people's lives. Like at the end, Carla Jean's life is he says heads or tails, and it's obviously an indicator of whether he is going to kill her or not, and that's something that shows like how defiant he is and like how bold he is in terms of the other characters, such as Lewin Moss, who he can be seen as like a strong character, but in the end he's the one who dies, and so he's obviously like the other side of Shigra. And if we compare the two, we can see that the Shigra character is a lot more superior in terms of defiance, just like violence, his way of going about things, and just his overall personality. Indicators that it's a Western we can see throughout the book are, like I said, the setting, also just kind of like a morality conflict we can see is pretty important in Western films. With I guess we could see it with Belle, who is the town sheriff, I believe, and in the end he has these dreams that deal with his deceased father, and it's kind of like the way he describes these dreams seem like he's sort of afraid of his father, doesn't really want to interact with him. It's one of the quotes that they mention in here. I can't find the quote, but basically just like an indicator of how his father is kind of a important part of his life in terms of the morality issue that he goes with throughout the book. And another indicator of this being a Western is the difference between the male dominancy and the female inferiority, which is prevalent when we see like Carla Jean versus Lewin Moss, her husband. And we can see that because, like, in the beginning of the book, just like the dialogue, the conversations they have with one another. I believe Carla Jean is like asking him, like, "Oh, like, what's going on? Where are you? Like, where have you been?" And stuff, and he like just gives her very short answers, and just not really exactly telling her what's wrong. That he like found all this money. He tried to find a good quote of that. But basically, Carla Jean is seen like as this inferior woman because, I mean, she does. Moss tells her to go to her mother's house, I believe, and she just kind of like it's sort of like kind of ignores that she has a life in the town that she's in, but she kind of drops everything and leaves because of her husband, which is definitely an indicator of her inferiority as a woman in terms of in comparison to Lewin. who's, you know, the one who's dictating basically her life, and he's just like, oh, take this money and like take it, you know, to your mom's house and like deal with the situation. Like her life is obviously endangered, as Shigra gives her a coin toss at the end of the book, and that just shows how like she relates to Shigra and that she's obviously very inferior, whereas he can, and like just like the idea that he can just kill her if he wants to. Another, just going back to the male dominancy that we can see with Shigra, when he just kind of like kills, I forgot who it was. He kills the man that is teamed up with Moss. I forgot his name. Oh, right, Wells. So he kills Wells as he finds out that Wells is trying to protect Llewyn Moss, and because he was like there in the situation, and he kind of just shoots him. And then we saw a clip of this in the a clip of the film in class. He just kind of casually raises his feet and picks up the phone call and zooms in on the blood that's rushing by his, kind of like going by his feet, and he just kind of picks up his feet, which shows like how little he values life and just like his dominancy in terms of other characters. So overall, this is seen a lot of as a Western, just because of Shigra as a character in terms of his dominancy and like the structure of the sentence structure that's very short, as well as Carla Jean's female inferiority.